This podcast is a Radio Mike original production. Head to radiomike.com.au to find out more. This episode of Harry Potter and the Boys is brought to you by Radio Mike on Patreon and the 20th Century Boy podcast. Head to patreon.com/Radio Mike and for as little as $1 a month, get a bonus podcast every week. And search 20th Century Boy on your favorite podcast app to hear more from me every week. 50 years after the final Harry Potter book, Harry Potter is now headmaster of Hogwarts, ready to usher in a brand new generation of witches and wizards. My name's Radio Mike, and I love Harry Potter. In fact, I love Harry Potter so much that when I was a kid, I wrote a series of 7 Harry Potter fan fiction novels. This is book 2 in that series. Welcome to Harry Potter and the Team Wizard Tournament. Hello, everyone. Oh, sorry. Hello, Hamoras, everyone. Welcome to the first Owl post of the show since, I'm going to look at the exact date. When was the last Owl post? Oh, it was May 23. It was a long time ago. So welcome to the first Owl post for a little while. Apologies there hasn't been one of these for a while. If you listen to my other podcast, 20th Century Boy, or you're a subscriber on Patreon and you listen to the Patreon exclusive podcast, the TCB Overflow, you'll just know I had a really hectic few months and feeling much better now. So I'm trying to get back into doing content again. Loved having this show back out again. We've had some really great chapters. Of course, we've had chapter 20, Farks the Penix. We've had chapter 21, Clownish Kim Jiri. And next week, of course, we have another episode. Huge thanks to Sammy Garlep for just being on board each week to do this pod. As I did explain last year, I think the hardest part about this pod in the earlier days was just getting a new guest every week to do it. Of course, I love having different guests on the show, but it just is a lot of effort to plan with someone new, etc., etc. So yeah, it's good having Sam. And I hope you guys, the feedback on Sam's been amazing. So I'm glad you guys really like Sam because he is so good on this show. Let's just start reading some of the owls that have been coming through. Highly encourage anyone who likes this pod. I'd really love it, guys, if each week you just sent in an owl. Just send in your favorite moment from the pod. What was the funniest moment in the previous chapter you heard? Anything you're hearing, I would just love for you to send in an owl. If you're someone who listens to this pod but doesn't send in an owl, I'd just maybe this week be the week you step up and go, I'm just going to send an owl. Anything that makes you laugh. I thrive off validation, to be honest, guys. So if there's any moment in a chapter that's like, fuck, that was so funny, please send it in. One, it makes me, I know people are listening to the pod, but I'd love a bit more of a community happening around this pod. Two, it also helps me remember highlight bits that I can pick out and use to promote the show. But yeah, here's a great email that came in from Phoebe. They have written in, so thank you for writing into the show, Phoebe. Sorry, they sent an owl. Hey, Mike and Sammy, if he's there. Sammy is not here for the owl post-eps, but I think he does listen to every ep of this show, so thanks to Sammy again for that. Phoebe goes on. I want to start off by saying I love this podcast, and it inspired me to read all the Harry Potter books and watch the movies in order, which for some reason I had just not done till now. Since your last episode in July, I started reading them and I'm already halfway through The Goblet of Fire. So good. I really want to read because earlier in the year I listened to the audiobooks of Half-Blood Prince and Deathly Hallows and they're just awesome. I think I kind of want to start again from the start. And also, here's a little fun fact. A few weeks ago, I couldn't sleep and there's this website. It's called Listen to a Movie. I think it's just Listen to a Movie. Yeah, listentoamovie.com. And they just have audio versions of movies and they've got all the Harry Potter there, all the Harry Potter movies on there. So basically you just press, so I listened to the Chamber of Secrets movie. I just listened and it goes for 2.5 hours and I kind of just drifted in and out of sleep. Hadn't seen that movie in a while, but when I was listening to it, just audio only, I could so accurately picture everything that was going on. So that was cool. If you ever can't sleep and you can't keep your eyes open, but you just want to listen to a movie, go to that website. They've got all the Harry Potters. I'm on it right now. And you just I just played it through my Google Home speaker. Very cool. Back to Phoebe. This podcast is always so funny to listen to. Thanks, whatever. And I love the chats at the start and in between. Awesome. That's what we want. I started listening in May this year when you were on the Adam and Simon show. And within 2 months, I caught up on all the episodes. That's great. That means that the publicity around the show, me doing other people's podcasts, is working in some way. It was my favorite podcast to listen to at my old cleaning job, and I would constantly have to suppress my giggles while I was cleaning. Phoebe, that means the world. I love when people send me messages saying, I was like cracking up laughing at your podcast in the supermarket or something like that. That's amazing. So glad you're enjoying it. They go on. I'm so happy that the pod is back because it's such a funny podcast and I love all the different guests and the stories they bring to it. Anyway, that's enough from me. Bye, Phoebe. Phoebe, thank you so much. That owl. Wow, that owl. And also the subject line for Phoebe's owl was, I think it was, here it is. I hope Pigwidgeon gets this to you. Obviously, a HP reference to Pigwidgeon, who is Ron's owl, or was it Ginny's owl? Anyway, I need to reread the books. But Amy, if you're listening, you can clear that up for me in your next email, I hope. Thank you again, Phoebe. Guys, be like Phoebe. They are great. Tom Weekhart. That actually, I wonder if that's how you say it. Tom Weekhart. Might be Wickhart. Anyway, Tom. Hey, Mike. Wow. This was sent in on the 16th of July, by the way. Sorry, the owl arrived on the 16th of July. Hey, Mike. Wow. Hasn't this book just gone up another level? All the seemingly useless plots all linking together. I am loving it. If you publish this as a book, I know one person who would buy it. I assume he means him. I assume you mean you, but okay. Love that. And yeah, do really like young Mike. Again, the book, when I was in year 7 at high school, the book we were studying was Holes by Louis Sachar, which is a fantastic book that every kid should read. And if you didn't read it as a kid, you should read it as an adult. It's a great kid's book. And, a lot of people who have studied Holes will know that one of the main reasons it's taught in schools is because there are so many little threads and breadcrumbs that are left through the book that all become relevant later. And I feel like that really inspired the HP and the B fanfic series because, yeah, there are lots of little bits and pieces that are just sort of like, I'm going to be honest, it is kind of addictive reading the book because you are keen on what's happening and there are some clever little twists that come up. Anyway, Tom continues. As always, I'm wondering what will happen next in the book. Yeah, well, aren't we all? You never really know with this book. Maybe, just maybe, the whole plot of clownish Kim Jiri and his dick chopping will be abandoned and a whole new plot would begin. Not out of the realm of possibility because the book is called The Team Wizard Tournament and that is well and truly done. This book truly keeps you light on your feet and that's why I like it because it's not like any other podcast I listen to. Lots of love, Tom. Thank you so much, Tom, for that owl. Oh, he goes on. Sorry. P.S. You know that jacket you sent me? Well, it's super nice and beautiful, but it just doesn't go with my eyes, so I asked your assistant to come pick it up. PSS, also a button's missing, but it shouldn't matter too much. PPSS, on second thought, I'll keep the jacket. PPPSSS, I quite like this email thing. Anyway, bye for now, diddle-dee-dee. A reference, of course, to Mr. Charge's emails in the first book. Next owl is from Orlando Floyd, long-term listener of the show, I believe. Welcome back. Hey, Radio Mike, I just finished listening to the new Owl Post and you mentioned seeing Harry Potter and the Cursed Child again. It would be a blast seeing you at the play. I am going on June the 17th for my birthday. Well, I missed that boat because it's now September. Sorry, Orlando, but write in with your thoughts on the play. Would be interested to know your thoughts. Ganonbort has sent in an owl. Be more like Ganonbort, guys. Send in an owl. Now that the pod is back, I'll throw in a reminder that last book, Hermione told the boys that Harry had been hit with a memory charm during an encounter with Mailman and Jar Jar. Okay, pause. I love that the listeners of the podcast know more about the canon of my book series than me, because you hear it on the show all the time. Sam and I forget everything. We're just like, oh yeah, I guess like the thing I think Amy wrote in about clownish Kim Jiri chopping off nearly dickless Ned's dick being the first thing we learn about him. But me and Sam found it out in a later chapter and we were like, oh my God, but we actually already knew that. But I love how much attention to detail you guys put in. If there's anyone listening who wants to maybe send in a email of any loose ends of the book that you think that you remember that haven't been wrapped up yet or are a bit confusing to you, I'd love to get a list of those just so we can go through them. A strong episode back, the title was a great misdirect for a chapter. This is Ganon board again, and the chapter he's referring to must be Farks the Penix, because that was the first episode back. He goes on, sorry. A strong episode back, the title was a great misdirect for a chapter that was fucked in such a different way than I expected. I also have an equal appreciation of the intro banter and the fan fiction itself. Ganon bought unofficial correspondent of the show, of course, because Amy is the official correspondent. And yeah, ongoing debate about what's better, the intro and banter between me and Sam or the actual fanfic. Seems like it's a bit balanced at the moment. Lazar, actually, in the podcast Discord, if you want to join the Discord, just let me know. He says, halfway through the ep at the moment, I stan both the beginning chit-chat and the fanfic section. Great. Good to know it's working in some way. A couple more owls before we move on. This one's from Hannah, and subject line is dedicated listener of HP and the Bee. Sorry, I just had to do something to the mic there. Sorry, I just went silent for like a second. Dedicated listener of HP and the Bee, Hannah Cadlolo. Cadlolo, that's a cool last name. Good day, Mike, Sam, and esteemed guests. Thank God the podcast is back. This came in on, must have been the day after it was back. I feel like the last month has been incredibly bland without my weekly dose of the fanfic. I also want to state that I'm a huge fan of the chit chat. Not once have I fast forwarded through your mad ramblings with Sam. Thank you for listening to me and Sam talking about boob signing and the meaning of the word perky. I appreciate it. Secondly, in response to this week's episode, chapter 20, I think was Farks the Penix. Yes, that's correct. Sam talks about that designer that is about 70 but looks super young. He's referring to Vera Wang. Maybe I'll Google Vera Wang. And I think, wow. Everyone Google Vera Wang. I mean, I don't think she looks 30, but she definitely doesn't look 70. I reckon she looks maybe like mid-40s, early 50s. Doesn't look, she definitely does. She could pass as young. It's unbelievable that she's in her 70s. That's an interesting bit of trivia. Thank you. Going on. Not sure what sort of potions she's taking, but there seems to be some dark farts involved. Also, I've also been rewatching The American Office, and Harry Potter and the Boys give me Threat Legal Midnight vibes. What's Threat Legal Midnight? Threat Legal Midnight. Is that an Office reference that I haven't seen? I'm not sure. Can someone clear that up for me? Am I reading that right? Threat Legal Midnight. It's supposed to be Threat Level Midnight. Anyway, I don't know. It definitely seems like something Michael Scott would write. Yeah, I agree. I've been watching lots of The Office America for the first time, and absolutely, Michael Scott reminds me of Harry Potter. Harry, like in my book, sorry. There's just the chaos of him. My personal favorite chapter was the Tibetan one. I've almost jokingly blurted out that the reason why I was late or couldn't do something was because I was Tibetan. Yeah, I think is it Harry who says, "Oh, sorry, just been Tibetan," which is obviously masturbating. Going on. Can't wait for next week's chappy. R.I.P. Gorby and Queen Lizzie. Yes, two of our best have left us. Scooter. Just a short message from Scooter, short owl. I have had the name Fuckster Fungorius stuck in my head all day. Just keep saying it over and over. Fuxta Fungorius, I think, was a name dropped earlier in the series of a potions master who may come back into the series. But yeah, Scooter's spelt Fuxta as Fuxter. In the book, I'm pretty sure I've spelt it Fuckster. Fuxta Fungorius. And finally, John Fillingham. I might have read this one before, but I'm not sure. Anyway, evening, Mike. I was just listening to chapter 15. What was chapter 15 of book 2? The Australian Bull Dragon. Wow, this book has changed a lot. Apologies, I'm a bit behind, and I just wanted to let you know how much I enjoyed it. Really good episode, had me cracking up throughout. Keep it up, lad. Thank you so much for all your owls. Again, guys, would love this many owls every week. So please write in. If you're listening to this and you never write in, just write in. Hey, Mike, just wanted to let you know I listen to the podcast. I've never written in before, but I love it, and this is my favorite part. There you go. There's a template for you. Follow it. Bit of Harry Potter news, and it's relevant to Australia, actually. This is from Domain, which is a real estate company in Australia. Harry Potter star Daniel Radcliffe sells $2 million plus Melbourne home. Wow. That is huge. If you don't know, Daniel Radcliffe had a house. I think it was a little townhouse in Toorak it's an apartment. Toorak here in Melbourne. Toorak is like the fanciest suburb in Melbourne. It's like all mansions and like 3-story houses, and all the rich people live there basically. Toorak is definitely like the bougiest place in Melbourne. Here's the article. Take the proceeds straight to get Gringotts. Harry Potter star Daniel Radcliffe has sold out of Melbourne's property market in a $2 million plus deal. The English actor had used the stylish Toorak apartment as a base when he was filming in Australia, but it became superfluous to his needs. It was bought in 2004 for $1.9 million by Radcliffe's mother, Marsha Gresham, records show, and then transferred into her son's name just before his 18th birthday in 2007. Jesus Christ. He must have just had so much money. The actor listed the home for sale in 2015 when it had price expectations of about $2.5 million. Despite receiving 3 offers, he decided not to sell because he was expecting to spend more time in Australia for work. They have a couple pictures of the apartment. It's gorgeous. Like, it's fucking, like, I think my apartment's really nice, but this one's incredible. Last year, he transferred it into the name of a corporate entity directed by his parents, Marsha Gresham and Alan Radcliffe, for a price of $2 million. The family has now sold the residence for a price in the low $2 million range in a quiet deal through blah, 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 real estate has confirmed. Comment on it. He won't comment. The north-facing home offers 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, 2 car spaces, a large open-plan living area, a balcony, and views of the Yarra River. Wow. Toorak's media, the rest isn't really Harry Potter related. It looks amazing. So if you're in Toorak and you were hoping to see Daniel Radcliffe, you've lost your chance. Unfortunately for that. We usually do meme of the week, so I'll just scroll through some of the memes on the Harry Potter Reddit page. I did find this one thing, which I thought was funny. It's not really a meme though, but here we go. It's just a discussion post. Send in your answers. Why is it that Ron is the only Weasley child who has his friends to stay in the summers? It's kind of true because, you know, there's lots of siblings there, but only Ron has his friends over during the summer, Harry and Hermione. Now, I get why Harry's there because Harry has a shit home life, so they're like, yeah, just come and stay with us. But Hermione doesn't need to be there, really. I guess she's friends with Ginny as well. But yeah, like Fred and George don't have Lee Jordan over, you know. Anyway, here's a little meme that's kind of funny. It's on the left, Cedric Diggory. And then there's a picture of the dead Cedric from Goblet of Fire after the maze. On the right, Hogwarts Band. It's a picture of Ross from Friends playing what appears to be the bagpipes, but it's like he's realized mid-bagpiping that something's gone wrong. That's funny. That's funny, guys. Look it up. All right, we might just do that one. We've gone pretty long on this one, but I did want to say a couple things. Firstly, If you like this pod, I would really love it if you share it with your friends, share it on your Insta story, pop it in the group chat. Hey, this guy does this podcast. He's Harry Potter fan fiction. It's so funny. You got to listen to it. Please. It's just the way to grow the show. I want to look at growing this show publicity wise, but it's if you guys like it, please share it with your mates, share it around, get them into it, and then rate it on Apple Podcasts or on Spotify. You can rate podcasts, so I'd love for you to rate this podcast 5 stars. Currently, this podcast has a rating of 4.9 on Spotify with 65 ratings. So I would love for you to get it up to 70 by next hour post. But yeah, and then the Patreon, if you like the show and you just want to support me and help me keep doing more of this stuff, please support patreon.com/RadioMike. If you want to make a one-off donation, paypal.me/itsRadioMike. Been talking about potentially doing a live show for Harry Potter and the Boys, a live reading. And if you're interested in that, let me know. Send me a cat emoji. Yep, just send me a cat emoji. But yeah, I would love to do a live show sometime soon. Anyway, that is this week's Our Post. Thank you so much for listening, guys. Goodbye, Hamoras. This episode of Harry Potter and the Boys was brought to you by Radio Mike on Patreon and the 20th Century Boy podcast. For as little as $1 a month, get a bonus podcast every week at patreon.com/RadioMike. And search 20th Century Boy on your favourite podcast app to hear more from me every single week. See you there. This podcast was a Radio Mike original production. Head to radiomike.com.au to check out all our other content, stay up to date at radio.mike on Instagram, and get in touch, RadioMikePod@gmail.com.